Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Puffco, Proxy, and Bub Diamond Dab of the Day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, when you enjoy today's video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all the comments. Let's get started on today's important topic. You know, I build things here out of my life for you guys. What I try to do is I try to help us learn about things that I've made mistakes on so the rest of you don't have to. One of the things that I didn't learn as a young man was patience. I didn't even know what the word meant. And when I say young man, I might not have known what it meant to be patient until I got into my 40s or 50s. Because what I was is I was a sales-generated mentality. If I wasn't making the sale, I couldn't go on. So I had to have a sale being made. I was very impatient, and I had to close that sale. And my sales weren't in retail where a customer walked in the door. I had to go to the different retailers, or in a case of when I had a large multi-thousand store chain I'm responsible for, to the owners and negotiate and sell them. And if you had patience and sat and waited, you'd be taken advantage of in those scenarios, unfortunately. You had to be ahead of the other guys. You had to be there earlier, first, and better. But what I learned as a human being as I grew older is that patience is a word. It's incredibly important, and it's a virtue. There's a saying, patience is a virtue. Well, it's true. You see, when we live with patience, we experience much more peace, much more joy and love. And we learn to embrace and understand the parts of life that are great and beautiful. Even the hard parts, we learn to gracefully deal with. So as we practice patience, we even help our families and our communities experience more peace and joy in their lives. I spent the better part of most of my life being impatient. I've spent the last part of my life learning and practicing patience. It's important because there's one thing I did learn. You can always be more patient. It's a skill. It has to be practiced like any skill, like dribbling the basketball, throwing a baseball, swimming, tennis. So how do we learn to be more patient? Well, there are ways, and it's not hard, even for people like me. If you're like I was, and I didn't understand what the word patient meant, I think we can talk about it and you'll understand. You got to choose to grow. It's much easier to be patient when you see a longer term goal. Frustrating moments, people, and situations, they tell us things. And if we choose to learn from those things, we grow. We got to learn to live strong because life is hard. But we can do hard things. And we got to make sure we don't forget that about ourselves. We need to appreciate life more and look for the bigger things that are right in front of us that we can't see. And never take for granted our loved ones, or the sun when it comes up, or the rain when it comes down, and the moments that make life worthwhile for you. Because those things definitely make us become more patient. And there's an acceptance process. You don't have to like or agree with it. You just have to accept it. In accepting what the situation is, we stop fighting with ourselves over what could have been. We take that cleansing breath, take a long look, and we finally see this is what's happening now, and we own it. That's patience. Sometimes you live in a paradox. If you don't have clarity or if things seem to be confusing, it's okay to live in a confusing world. We got to give ourselves time for things to work out sometimes, instead of always impatiently forcing an outcome. With me, I had to get the sale. So you know what that turned into? In every negotiation with a person, interaction with any person at home, I had to finish the situation. I couldn't let it go off and think about it overnight. I had to get it done. That was bad. I was forcing an outcome when I really shouldn't have been. Maybe if we don't get stuck in the why is it happening to me? Why can't I do better at this? Maybe we should ask ourselves, how Instead of the why, maybe it's how do we do what we need to do? How do we move on? That's a patience discussion. You ever hear the term fake it till you make it? Unfortunately, that's a really good way to practice patience. You got to act as if it's happening for a while. That's right, as the thing's not bothering you. Not saying fake things. No. Authenticity is the key and being real. But the concept of faking it for a while is a great way to get through those moments that are tough with patience. Ultimately, we got to slow down because life is busy. And that's a huge cause of impatience. Deep breathing, other meditation type things, very important. A lot of people are looking for love in the world. First thing you need to love is you. Love me. Love I. And don't lose your patience about finding a person to love. Find love for yourself first. Learn to understand that change is inevitable and part of life. Part of patience is kind of seeing what happens. You can say you're going to make change, or you can say that change is happening. Either way, life's changing. So we have to find a way to be kind to ourselves and all the things that we're impatient about, all the things we say are our faults. We need to do things that are nice for ourselves and recognize our strengths and the good things about ourselves and embrace the difficulties and weaknesses, for God's sake. There are areas that everybody needs to learn about and grow more. But that's no reason not to be patient. Take a time out even. You can't do it all at once. I want to fix this. I want to do that. I want to get this. Then I want to look better here. I want to get that. Then I need to do that. You can't. Remember, you're on the hamster wheel of life, and it's going to keep coming. Okay? And we as human beings just can't have all the answers all the time. Be patient towards the unresolved things that we've got going on in life. We got to live. We got to also recognize our power and acknowledge potentially that there's powers beyond our control. Control what we can control and try not to worry about what we can't control. That's the ultimate patience. Letting go of the need to know it all now. Letting go of the need to be perfect. Letting go of the desire to control every relationship in our life, every interpersonal thing in our life, and letting go of everything we can't understand. We need to let ourselves trust patiently that things will move on, move forward, okay. You know why that's going to happen, by the way? Because if we've exercised patience, and if we've done the proper things and maintained our credibility and authenticity, it will pay off. I promise you. Patience truly is a virtue. That is not just a saying. It's a fact. Look at all the situations in your own lives. Think of yourselves out there. Use examples that you have not been patient about, that you've rushed answers on, pushed. I got to know now. Guess what? Without knowing your specifics, I can tell you that 80%, that's 80%, of the things we push for don't go the way we want them to. What do you think of that? The only reason that when I pushed, things went the way I wanted them to in business is because I had something the other guy needed. It's a lot harder in the interpersonal world. So we really, as human beings, in the world of other human beings, if we can master patience, it's worth its weight in gold. You'll be invited to every party. You'll be at the top of everyone's social list. They'll remember you. They'll say, who was that person that contributed so much? Because they were authentic and patient. This is the Real Senior Stoner. We're going out on our Puffco Proxy with Bub and some City Diamonds today. Thanks for being here, everybody. You know what to do. hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all the comments because I've got a lot of patience. I've built this channel one subscriber at a time because that's how you come to me. And I appreciate each one of you. Cheers, and have a wonderful day, everybody. The dab train is rolling. And I'm patiently awaiting more subscribers, more likes, and more comments as you're patiently awaiting more videos. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And once again, thanks for joining the Real Senior Stoner.